Our goal on this worksheet is to, on this side of the worksheet, is to determine whether the two triangles shown in each problem are congruent to each other. And we've got two ways of being congruent, and I've written them at the top of the page in that little red box where it says SSS and SAS. You'll remember from yesterday if you're in class, that's the side-side-side congruence postulate and the side-angle-side congruence postulate. If you weren't here, you may want to read the sections on side-side-side and side-angle-side in Chapter 4. Okay, on problem number 1, notice that there are two pairs of sides marked congruent on the triangles. You've got a AC is marked congruent with 2 marks to EF, and AB is marked congruent using 3 marks to DE. You also have, in this case, the angles that are created by the sides with the marks on them. Angle A, which is created by the 3 and 2 mark side there, is congruent to angle E, which is created by the 2 and 3 mark sides of the second triangle. That's what we call the included angle. If you were gone yesterday, there's a video on included angles and side angle side on Prism you can take a look at. Okay, that means that those two triangles are congruent, and our reason is side, angle, side. Now, we have to write the congruence statement. That triangle ABC is congruent to, and we need to get the letters D, E, F in the right order. Okay, so we want to take a look at the path that we're taking when we go around triangle ABC in that order. We're starting at the angle. We're going down the 3 mark side. So you're going to start at the angle and go down the 3 mark side. So you're going to go ABC if that's what you do. Now on the other side, starting at the angle, then going down the 3 mark side, we would hit the points EDF in that order. So ABC is congruent to triangle EDF. As we look at the second picture on number 2, and you should be filling in your sheets with all the problems I do, and you better be getting these right, that if you look at the picture, we have 3 pairs of congruent angles marked. That's great. But side, side, side needs 3 pairs of congruent sides, and side, angle, side needs 2 pairs of congruent sides. We don't have any sides at all, so these triangles are not congruent. We'll just write none on both of the lines when we can't find congruence. And that may happen again in the pictures. Okay, look at number 4. Here we have 2 triangles that share a side. Triangle ABC and triangle BDC share a side. Now, we can count that side, that segment BC belongs to both of them. We can count it both as a side of triangle ABC, which has got the 3 marks and the 2 marks, and we can count it as a part of triangle BDC, which also has the 3 marks and the 2 marks. So the 2 triangles, because they share a side, really do have 3 pairs of congruent sides and will be congruent by side, side, side. Now when I say the letters A, B, C in that order, because we've already named the first triangle here, we have to name the second one to match up. ABC is starting with the 3 mark side and then going down the 1 mark side. So to make that same path on the other triangle, 3 mark side divided followed by 1 mark side, I'd have to go DCB. So the congruent statement is that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DCB. Okay, you should notice that several other problems have that property, that they share a side. On number 5, they share this side down the middle, so you could put a single mark there to show they're congruent. On number 6, they share the side down the middle. I'll put 3 marks on it because the 1 and 2 mark notations have already been used. And you'll also notice out of the view of this picture that on problems number 7, 8, and 10, the same thing occurs. Okay, now so you'll be finishing the rest of this side of this worksheet. And now I want to show you a couple proofs. Unfortunately, and they're on the back of your paper, unfortunately I messed up these proofs when I wrote them on the back of your paper, so you'll need to change them to get started. You need to scratch out what used to be given on the first proof, that B and D are right angles, and I've sort of scribbled them out in the picture. They're no longer right angles. And you'll replace that with a given that says that AB is congruent to CD, and you'll notice I have 2 marks, 1 mark on each of them, and that AC is congruent to EC, and I've got 2 marks on each of those. What we're trying to prove then, and you need to change that too, is that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle EDC. Okay. Touch up that letter C and put a comma there. All right. I'll give you just a second to get caught up, and then we're going to do this proof. As a reminder, when I check these papers, these proofs had better be filled in and be correct. Okay. So as I'm doing this guy here, we've got 2 pairs of congruent sides marked. Side, side, side would require that I be able to prove the third pair of sides, AB and DE, congruent. Side angle side would require that I'm able to prove that the angles that the angles that are included by the sides given are congruent. And I get real lucky here because they are. We know that vertical angles are congruent, so I can see that angle BCA is a vertical angle to angle DCE, and therefore in the proof I can mark them as congruent. So my step 2 in this proof is simply to say that angle ACB is congruent to angle DCE. And our reason is that vertical angles are congruent. Now if you think back to what you were doing on the first page, if you look at those 2 triangles, you will see that they are congruent by side angle side. So we will write, now I've called them triangle ABC and triangle EDC up here. I'll go ahead and complete that line. Our reason is side angle side. We ought to check that ABC and EDC is a good naming. When I say the letters ABC in that order, I'm going down the no mark side, hitting the 1 mark side, and then the angle. So I need to go no mark, 1 mark the angle in the other triangle, and that would be EDC, and that's exactly what we said, so we named things right. Okay, on our next proof, at the bottom of your page and on my next page, you'll have to add some things because it doesn't say what was given, and what is given is what's shown on the diagram. So the given is that segment AB is congruent to segment DC. You notice that they've got 3 marks on each of them. And that segment BD is congruent to segment AC, and they've got 2 marks on each of them. Okay, we're out to prove the 2 triangles congruent as named there. So our first step, as always, is to get the given in here. That's a little bit big of a pen there. Okay, so the given is that AB is congruent to DC, and that BD is congruent to AC. Just the congruent segments we see in the diagram. Given. Now you might remember on the front page that whenever you notice that 2 triangles shared a segment, and these guys share segment BC, that you simply added a congruent mark and claimed them congruent. When you're doing a proof, you need to actually write down that step. So you're going to write down that you notice that BC belongs to both, and the way you show me that is you say BC is congruent to BC. And that gives you the right to use it as a congruent part of both triangles. Now your reason that anything is congruent to itself is the reflexive property. So reflexive, remember, means anything is equal or congruent to itself. Well, now the triangles have 3 pairs of congruent sides. So we write triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DCB, and our reason will be side, side, side. As a last step, we should check that the ordering of the letters works for us here. If we say A, B, C in that order, then we're going down the 3 mark side followed by the 1 mark side. To do that in the other triangle, the 3 mark side followed by the 1 mark side would be DCB, and that's exactly what we said, so we named them in the right way. They are congruent. Okay, you should complete the front side of this worksheet and then turn it in, and then on Prism in the homework area there are some proofs to do, and you will turn those proofs in when I see you on Monday. Have a nice weekend. Bye.